through this session of how do we enhance commitment in our daily lives that would enable us to overcome simple, tiny habits of delaying things, which we often call it as procrastinating things. Do we procrastinate? Yeah? Okay. So before we get on to the topic, let's have a moment of silence. And in this moment of silence, let us take a few deep breaths and just be aware of your own self. Just feel connected to yourself. And in this moment, let me prioritize myself. Let me tell myself that this 1 hour, I'm just going to be with myself to learn and grow. I value myself. And with deep respect, I allow myself to be in this present moment. Thank you. So when we talk about valuing ourselves, there's a very beautiful connection. When I value myself, I value everything that I do, including my thoughts. And these two words, procrastination and commitments, it's like an opposite of each other. If I'm committed to something, I wouldn't procrastinate it. And if I'm procrastinating something, I'm not valuing it enough, or I'm not committed to it enough. So the whole session today will understand the dynamics between these two words and the energy that these two words have. So when we talk about commitment wins, there is a kind of energy that allows me to move forward, right? The sound of it. And when we say procrastinating or overcoming procrastination, the energy is like there is an obstacle and I have to move away from it or move forward. Right? That hurdle, I have to overcome that. There's a block. So any block that I have to overcome needs strength. Procrastination is a kind of a mental block that I'm creating for myself. Commitment is a tool that will allow me to shift that block, to release that block, or to overcome that. Does that make sense? So let's understand what these words mean. So when we talk about commitment, commitment is all about staying loyal. Loyal to my decisions, loyal to my goals, loyal to task or an idea. There might be a lot of challenges, a lot of distractions, but despite of all those challenges and distractions, I still continuously choose to do what I want to do. Does that make sense? Because sometimes I say, okay, simple example, I would want to get up early in the morning. That's a decision I'm making. But when the alarm goes off, do I press the snooze button? How many times? Maybe multiple times. And sometimes I don't even hear after a certain time, or sometimes I just shut it down and continue sleeping. Right? So I'm procrastinating the act of waking up at that moment. Right? So when I'm trying to choose commitment, I'm saying no to distractions. I'm saying no to slackness. I am building a habit of strengthening and a relationship with my mind. Because every time I think of doing something and I value distractions over commitment, I'm building a relationship with my mind. I'm programming my mind. And then my mind understands that whenever this person says, let's do this, I don't want to do that. Because eventually they will not do it. Taking the same example of sleep or waking up early in the morning. If I am not going to wake up day one, day two, I'm doing the same thing, repeating the same pattern. After a week, will your mind even tell you it's morning, wake up? No, there's a habit. Your mind stopped telling you because you've programmed your mind subconsciously by not choosing what you were supposed to do. So, what is procrastination? Procrastination is delaying any task despite knowing that if I'm going to delay, it's going to have a consequence. It's going to build pressure. It's going to, maybe relationship is going to be affected. Different kinds of consequences. And also, I might not do it. I might delay it because there's an unsaid fear. Fear of failure or fear of not doing it perfectly. Some people do often say that, I don't want to do this because I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it completely or not. Better I don't do it, tell somebody else to do it. Maybe lack of motivation, or I've already got so much to do and I'm feeling overwhelmed. Do we all experience this at some point in our day-to-day life times? So what do we do? How do we deal with this? And what's the spiritual aspect to deal with this? So let's understand this whole dynamics of these two energies. So to use commitment, I need to first understand what procrastination is. And to understand what procrastination is, let's see. Normally, we say that we don't have time. And for us, time is an issue. So when we don't do things or we procrastinate or we delay, often it's projected on time. I don't have time. But reality is, it's not a time issue. It's an emotional response. So despite of having time, it's my coping mechanism towards something that the task is triggering in me. So it's our way of dealing with our emotions by projecting on the task we do or we don't do. Very interesting, very fascinating. And it's very interesting how it works. There's a procrastination cycle. I'm delaying something, I feel guilty about it. That I didn't wake up this morning, I'm feeling guilty about it. And then because I'm late, I'm going to panic. And when I'm panicking and I'm not doing things right, I make excuses. I feel overwhelmed and I procrastinate even more. So this cycle continuously goes on and on and on. How do I break the cycle? That's the $1,000,000 question. So to break a cycle and to understand my emotional responses, let's dive into a bit deeper. According to research, there are multiple reasons that we procrastinate. The number one reason is believing that I can work better when I'm in pressure. There's a deadline, do it now. Let me finish it now. So when I have deadlines, when I'm in pressure, I'll do that. When I've got stress, I can perform better. There is a psychological understanding, and that's why people who get deadlines says adrenal rush in that, and they do it and do well. So okay, we leave it for the last minute and then do it at the last minute. Sometimes we're not sure what we want to do, so not knowing enough. Maybe not feeling, not in the mood to do it. I know it's important, but I'm not in the mood right now. Maybe I choose something else. And maybe not knowing what needs to be done, how to do, and what to do. Different questions. Right? So my approach is different. Now let's go much deeper. When I procrastinate, I need to know why. Why am I procrastinating? What is it that's happening? So when I understand, when I go deeper, I understand my why. There might be why for everybody. Everybody will have a different reason for that. Somebody will be, yes, sure. Somebody may be doubting themselves. You have a task and you not sure that I might be able to do, I might not be able to do, and I start doubting. Or I need to have a distance with the task. Before I do the task, I need to know everything about it. I need to feel comfortable about it. Or maybe I don't have enough clarity about it. Maybe I need some pressure. Maybe I need somebody to push me to do that. Some stress about it. Okay, you've told me something, but I need to process it first. And these are all valid reasons, for us to take time. So when I'm finding my why, I have to be very, very honest with myself. And that honesty needs courage, needs spiritual strength. Because in the process of finding my why, there might be a lot of denials that I'm denying. And that denials could lead me to addictions. It could be a simple addiction of drinking coffee, or it could be sleep. It could be some distraction, or thinking I'm right. So there are multiple reasons to understand your why. And once you've identified what your why is, it's important. I'm just going a bit faster so that we can have more understanding of the solutions rather than a problem, because I think all of us know what the problem is, right? We have spent enough time understanding why we procrastinate things, but it's also important to identify what type of procrastinator I am. Like when I know my why, it's easy for me to understand the type of procrastination. We are different types. People have different types. There is one type called the warrior type. Then you have the perfectionist type. Then there is the dreamer type, the overdoer, the defier, or the crisis maker. Now, what does this mean? Can you see where can we evaluate for ourselves where am I in this chart? So when we speak about the warrior is like last minute, What does the warrior do? It worries a lot. I'm worrying. I don't know what to do. There's anxiety, there's fear. I'm not ready to take actions. I'm thinking of potential negative consequences. And maybe I'm delaying because I don't want to take responsibilities. I'm not ready for it. But I'm overthinking about it. Right? When I'm a perfectionist, I procrastinate because I want it to be perfect. And I know it's not going to be perfect now, so let me do it some other time. And so I avoid taking this because I know if I don't do it perfectly, I might be judged. And I don't want to be judged. And because there is a fear of that judgment triggering something in me. So I want everything to be perfect. And I delay things. The dreamer, very interesting. I think we all daydream some point in our lives, right? There's so much of dreaming that we do. But this is a very unique kind of things because often we get trapped into the world of imagination filled with grand plans, aspirations. I want to do this, I'll do this, and very positive approach to life. But there's a plan, but there is no concrete steps towards it. We lack that concrete steps. And then what happens to these individuals, they tend to believe that just with a bit more planning, bit more contemplation, magically everything will fall into place. So they're just planning and planning and planning and planning and planning. I think that happens with all of us. Maybe perhaps at some point during the new year, we make New Year resolutions. We plan that this year we'll do this, 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 this. There's so much of thought process going on. And perhaps we fail after a month or after 2-3 weeks, things take over. Then when we speak about the overdoer, this procrastination is more when I think, yes, I can do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. I take on too much and then not sure what to do when, and then struggle with time. Crisis maker, it's like lastminute.com. Until the pressure is there, I won't do it. So for me to do any task, I need that adrenal rush. My brain has to feel that sense of achievement. And that sense of achievement will be there only when I do certain things in short period and I feel great about myself, subconsciously. And the last one is, it's a kind of control issue where I want to feel free and independent. Like if somebody is going to give me a task, I don't want to do it that time because I don't want a sense of authority over me. So I'll try and do it in my own time, not when it's needed or not when it's been to be done. So it's a very deep-seated desire for control over my own time and my task. I don't want anybody to be my boss. I'm my own boss. I'll work on my own terms, my own rules. So there are different types of procrastinator, and we just have to go and see what type am I. And maybe just lazy. So let's understand the second half of it is, how do I overcome procrastination? What is my connection or our connection with time? Because spiritually, all of us are connected to time, right? We've got a very deep connection with time. Time is like cyclic. Our thoughts are cyclic. We have a thought, we forget, and after a few times they come back again, and then we process and things happen. There's the thought pattern. And how would spiritual awareness help me to cope? So we're going to look at some quick fixes, some understanding, and some deep-rooted solutions. So to overcome procrastination, there are few things that we can understand. And first is use commitment. Commit to small but achievable steps. So you may want to break it down to small, tiny steps. There's a beautiful book called Tiny Habits. I don't know if you've heard about that before, but it's not about doing big changes in your life, but tiny, tiny, small things, micro habits that we call, micro commitments. Like, okay, nothing much, maybe small things that I can identify in my day. I commit to that with a very clear mind. The second thing, I can leverage between motivation and discipline, which we talked about. What is my why? Where am I lacking? I visualize success. So before you do a task, there's a lot of different ways of visualizing that I've completed my task and then get on with it. So my brain knows it's easier to do something you know than to do something you don't know. So visualization would help there. And discipline. 80% of time we lack discipline because we allow our moods to take over. And there's a very famous saying, go by the plan, not by the mood. So often we have a plan, but at that time, if I am not in the mood, I might not do that and allow my mood to kick in. But if in Brahma Kumaris, there's a beautiful concept saying master of the self or self-sovereign. And when I'm becoming self-sovereign, like I am my master, I don't allow my moods or feelings to overwhelm me or to take over me. But I sit with it, I talk to it, I understand them and do what I have to do. The other thing is to practice time management. Yes, we all are super busy. We've got 110 jobs to do. We're multitasking at all the time. But it's important that I learn few techniques of time management. It could be time blocking method. You know what time blocking method is? Just set time for each task. Like say, for example, I need to cook. Okay, 15 minutes. Let me make a quick breakfast for myself. And in that 15 minutes, I finish it. And I think in school, we were taught that we were given exam and we would say 15 minutes to solve this puzzle and we would do it. But if I don't give myself a time frame, I might carry on dragging it. So I look at the task, I create a time for it. Then there is another technique. It's called Pomodoro technique. It's like work for 25 minutes. And after 25 minutes, take a break for 5 minutes. Then come back to the task and work for 25 minutes. And you know, there's a famous saying which is called, eat the ugliest frog first. Have you heard that? Which means that the things you don't want to do it first. So when you do that first, you've actually given your mind, you've programmed your mind that you've done the hardest job. And then the rest becomes easier for you to do. And of course, we all know how deadline works, don't we? So setting time or doing time blocking or giving yourself enough time with regular breaks and then deadlines. That will really help to plan and structure your day. And you can be more effective, more efficient in whatever things that you do. The other one, which is very important and very crucial to overcome our procrastination, because see, procrastination, it's not a habit. As I said, it's a coping mechanism. Through my pain, it's a pain response. So every time I'm experiencing any kind of subconscious pain, I'm going to procrastinate a task. It's certain. And how do I come out from that pain response? How do I come out from that coping mechanism? How do I cope? Growth mindset is very, very important. And in that, the first thing is to embrace imperfection. Because we procrastinate thinking we'll fail. I'm not going to do it perfectly. It doesn't matter. Try. One day it will be there. But if I never try, if I never do, if I never take the first step, I'm never going to reach the final destination. So it's very important for me to embrace my imperfections and be okay with them. Because there is beauty in those imperfections. All of us are imperfect, but all of us are uniquely beautiful at the same time. So that the growth mindset comes when I am embracing my imperfection and not rejecting my imperfection. It's a deep sense of acceptance that I am having for myself. Learn from my failures, but also at the same time, I have to celebrate my wins. And tiny ones, small ones. Like if I woke up this morning right time, congratulate myself. If I reached work right time, it might be a daily task, but even if I'm doing that daily task regularly, let me celebrate that. Let me appreciate. And it's a part of self-care, self-love, that I am appreciating my my wins. I'm valuing who I am, and I'm respecting the way I am. Very important. Because there's constantly, in today's day and age, when we go out to work or when you are with your colleagues or when we are working under pressure at job and things like that, there's a lot of criticism that we hear. A lot of criticism, a lot of pressure, a lot of negative influences would come around me all the time. And in that, I have to reflect. I have to understand my own patterns. When criticism comes towards me, how am I responding? How am I behaving? What are my thought patterns? When I start analyzing my thought patterns, automatically I will have strategies to adjust to that pressure, to that understanding. And then, as I said, reflect, practice self-compassion. Now, the growth mindset and the act of reflecting and adapting goes hand in hand. Because the more I reflect, the more I grow. The more I grow, I can adapt. The more I am reflecting, something has happened today, I am reflecting, I am learning, I know myself better, I grow. When I grow, my inner resilience increases and I can adapt to situation much better. Does that make sense? So when I am having a growth mindset, when I am reflecting, it's very important for me to understand some spiritual dimensions also. Because with the constant bombardment of different things that are coming and making me overwhelmed, I also need to learn the technique of guarding myself, right? And how do I do that? So first, let's deal with this side of the page where I want to break down my task, I want to disciplinize myself, and I want to practice time management. How do I do that? I've got multiple things to do. So there is a very famous matrix. It's called decision-making matrix. I don't know if you know about this. So you've got few things. What you do is on one side, this side is about what is important, and this side is what is urgent. So tasks which are important and urgent, do it now. Just do it now. Tasks which are not important but urgent. Some you need to address it, but they're not very important at the moment. So those tasks I can give and delegate to people. So use the delegation. I call it the 4D aspect: do, delegate. Tasks which are important but are not urgent. Important, not urgent. What do I do with them? I decide, I schedule a time. When do I do it? And tasks which are not urgent, at the same time not important. What am I supposed to do? Just delete them. Yeah? Either I do it, I delegate it, I decide a time for it, or I delete it. So before you go to bed for your next day, just do this matrix before going to bed. So tomorrow when I wake up, these are the tasks I need to do. These are the tasks I need to delegate. These are the tasks I'll decide a time throughout the day when I have to do. And these are not important. I don't even want to give a little bit of energy to it. Just delete. Make sense? Yeah. Important, urgent, do it. Urgent, but not important, delegate it. Important, but not urgent, decide a time. And not important, not urgent, delete. Make sense? So this was what we talked about, breaking down your task. And this is a very effective method of doing it. And I bet your efficiency will increase a lot if you follow this matrix. But the other part was the growth mindset, to reflect, to adapt, and to how do I cultivate that? And in Brahma Kumaris, we learn that every day. The first thing that we do is awareness and self-reflection. The beautiful concept of soul consciousness, and I'm sure all of you have heard about this concept of soul consciousness, that I'm a soul, I'm the energy in this body. And through that understanding of me being that energy, my vision towards everything changes. My focus increases. And because I'm practicing soul consciousness, it helps me to reduce distraction, because most distraction comes from body consciousness. So when I am saying no to body consciousness, I'm saying no to a lot of waste. And when I'm saying no to a lot of waste, my concentration, my focus is there. And then that focus, that habit of cultivating focus, allows me to do tasks in a very, very meaningful way. Allows me to take the right decision. And because I'm more aware and I'm reflecting, we use the virtue of introspection, just going deep, seeing, understanding how my thoughts work, understanding what my triggers are, understanding what is the underlying reasons for different kind of rejections or different kind of denials, different kind of avoidances that I'm doing. So the basis of overcoming any procrastination, or any failure, or to grow or use commitment is introspection, to go within. There's a beautiful power we call power to withdraw. And every time I create a distance between things around me and myself, I'm able to understand my feelings. I'm able to understand where my thoughts, what patterns they are leading to. It's very important. Right? The second thing is, when I'm understanding, there's the clarity. And when I have a clear purpose, then I can understand my priorities and the basis of my priorities. For some people, priority could be different, and for others, priority could be different. So my priorities, the foundation for my priority is my vision. What is my vision for myself? What is the vision for my life? Where am I heading? The purpose. And where there is clear purpose, there is no procrastination. Because I know my direction. Procrastination often happens because there is lack of direction. I don't know what to do. So I don't want to do anything right now. I just need time. But the moment I have a purpose, make sense? Yeah. The other thing is meditation. The Raja Yoga meditation that we practice allows us because we're talking about the coping mechanism. And one of the way is procrastination, but the other way is to use your powers. And I don't know if you have done the Raj Yoga meditation, or if you have not, then I would highly recommend you to do that Raj Yoga meditation course, because that allows you, that introduces you to your powers. And those powers will allow you to manage your mind, understand your thoughts, understand where that mental clutter is and reduce that clutter, and also align my intentions and my actions. Very important. And how do I do this? What is Raja Yoga meditation? It's a very simple 3 steps process. The first step is introspection, journey inward. I go within, be myself, understand myself, and then connect myself to the source, to the higher power. That's journey upward. So journey inward, journey upward, and then journey outward. Does that make sense? Which means I know myself, I've connected to the source, I have absorbed the energy, I have absorbed the power, and then I'm sharing it through my actions and my behavior. Managing my mind, managing my actions. And then, how do I manage my actions? By my virtues. So there might be some situations where I get impatient. There might be some situations where I get panicked. There might be some situation where I am not having clarity. So what happens is, through Raja Yoga meditation and practice, it becomes easy to understand what patience is, practice determination, cultivate those virtues of contentment and courage, because pain and dissatisfaction goes hand in hand, right? And where there is discontentment, dissatisfaction, there is pain. And every time there is a dissatisfaction, there is comparison. And my mind often pulls me into my past or my future, creating anxiety or pain, suffering. But once I start understanding those issues and I start practicing virtues, things often become very easy and simple. And these virtues will allow me to overcome self-doubt, to overcome my own triggers and my own emotional addictions. We don't know. It's very easy to understand the external addictions. Like, say, for example, I'm addicted to sweets, or I'm addicted to coffee, I'm addicted to drugs, I'm addicted to chocolates. Yeah, thank you. Right? So many kinds of addictions. That's easy because it's visible. Maybe I'm addicted to sleep. Maybe I'm addicted to watching television or just binge watching something. But then there are also emotional addiction. I might be addicted to dependencies. I might be addicted to humans. I might be addicted to my thinking patterns, my ego, my attachments. A lot of things. So this virtues of practicing them empowers me to let go of all the dependencies and neediness that I have, or that I am able to recognize within. It's a deep, deep, huge subject for me to dive into. And then when I'm diving into, when I'm recognizing things, I understand how I can reinforce positivity. So positive reinforcement is very important, and that starts with self-compassion that we've already spoken about. And how do we do that? When we talk to ourselves, what kind of language do we actually use for ourselves? Is it harsh? Is it filled with criticism? Or is it filled with compassion? Simple question. Would I speak to some near and dear friend the way I talk to myself? Or would my tone and my language be different? So, in the Brahma Kumaris, we often discourage harsh, critical language for your own self. And instead, it's good to talk to yourself in a way that's compassionate and filled with encouragement, like you would talk to a dear friend, a valued friend. We all make mistakes. We all have some flaws. Can I be kind and compassionate to myself and respect myself enough to behave in the right way with myself? Often we see ourselves putting other people first, their needs first, and we forget ourselves, we devalue ourselves. But can I create a balance? It's very important. And that balance comes when I value my efforts. I see myself celebrating my small efforts that I'm doing, small steps. Okay, I took 5 minutes for myself today. Great. I went for a walk today. Great. So, what my needs are, and am I catering to my needs? Sometimes, when we don't cater to our needs, after a while they become our want, desire. And those wants leads to expectations and disappointments. So we have to be very clear how we want and where we want our lives to go. And for that, we have to be detached. If I want to be focused, be productive, a beautiful technique that has been taught of understanding is let me give my 100%. Let me focus on the journey and not on the destination. Because if I'm going to enjoy my journey, the destination is going to be 100% beautiful. So it's all about my awareness in the present moment. And when I'm in the present, I'm able to let go of the fear. Because the fear often comes with the result and not with the effort. So if I want to let go of the fear of failure, or fear of judgment, my perfection might be different from your perfection. What I think is good might not be good enough for you. So whatever I do, there might be comments over it. There might be criticism. There might be appreciation. But can I be detached from those outcomes? Can I just enjoy what I'm doing and leave the rest? It's a very deep spiritual discipline that we need to practice of being detached from the outcome, but give my best and focus on the efforts that I'm putting. And for that, how does that detachment come? The detachment comes with the understanding of karma. Because every task, there's most often people ask, how does Brahma Kumaris and an organization function? You do everything. How do you do that? No? But every task that we learn here, we come from a beautiful concept called karma yoga. Karma, action. Yoga, connection. And there is a sense of service. Because when you start seeing each one as unique souls, when we see each other with the feeling of brotherhood, with one family, everybody is my brother and sisters, and we all are connected to one parent, the Supreme. And there is that bond of love. There is a bond of selflessness. And then every task we do is not just a task, is not just a job, but act of service. So the attitude towards doing tasks changes. And then we know what we give comes back to us. So when I'm doing something, if I'm doing it with 100% love, with 100% positivity, with 100% of my capacity, the result in return would be equal. It's law of karma. Every action has its equal and opposite reaction. And that's why people say, if you ask Google, what is procrastination? You know, sometimes things pop up like procrastination is the easiest way to ruin your life. And I was like, wow, this is great. Right? Yes, because what am I doing by procrastinating? I'm delaying, I'm rejecting, I'm avoiding. So, what am I sending out? Rejection, delay, negative emotions. What is going to come back to me? I want to be successful, but time's going to delay it. So, I have to understand what I am giving, the attitude with what I'm doing. The result is going to be based on my motive and my attitude, and not what I'm thinking. So my thoughts, my awareness, and my actions have to be aligned. And that comes with clarity. That comes with one commitment. And that commitment is to prioritize myself, know myself, value myself, respect myself enough, and to understand my purpose. Any questions? Even to those who are watching us online? Any questions? No questions? Great. So let's have a few minutes of meditation. Sit very comfortably. And in this moment, I allow myself to be in this present and powerful moment of now. This moment is free. And as I sit in this seat of my self-respect, creating that awareness, I am an energy. I am a positive being. I am master of this body, very different from this body. This body is a beautiful instrument given to me by nature. 5 elements: so that I can experience and express being on this human journey. As I see myself as this beautiful point of light, let me connect to supreme energy. And this connection empowers me, builds my inner resilience, makes me stronger from within. Where I can see myself doing things that I am avoiding because of some kind of lack within me. My humility allows me to fill this gap, and with this supreme energy, I allow myself to be healed and find clarity within me. I visualize my life with direction. In whatever I do, I feel happiness. My focus is in the present moment, just to enjoy the most unwanted task so that I can learn and grow. This deep connection with myself allows me to cultivate a beautiful mindset that looks for growth and learning. I take a deep breath in and appreciate everything that I'm doing to best of my capacity. And things that I have not been able to accomplish, I just tell myself with a very compassionate voice, it's okay. I'll do it soon. It's a work in progress. I thank myself for being who I am and start feeling comfortable in my own skin so that I can move forward. Taking a deep breath in, I gently open my eyes and come back to this present moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Nidhi. That was very, very inspirational. I'm glad I can go back and look at it again and study every bit of it. We didn't get to give Nidhi a proper introduction, but she's a cherished member of this Inner Space Wembley team. Was it here? Okay.
You can let me come here so that you can see me. I think this is better. Okay, now.
Okay, I will say this again. A very well loved member of Inner Space Wembley team. And I just want to say in that talk, I got a few things. What I liked was the do, decide, delegate,
Delete.
and delete. Yeah, that I will carry with myself. So in her biography, she has always has a lot of energy, and I always wondered why she has boundless energy. It must be all the wisdom she carries with herself. Also, I always go back to the first time I met Sister Nidhi, and she was like straight away feel at ease, whether you've known her a long time or just met her. She has a way of making you just relax, and those who have met her, you know what I'm talking about. So we love you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the talk. Among other things that she does for the Brahma Kumaris, she is a big contributor to the YAP program. I don't know if you know about the YAP program, Young Ambassadors for Peace, which they work with school children. So, yeah, I've seen some of them, and they look extremely elevated. So congratulations on the program. So the announcements for this week is Sundays. Every Sunday is a morning meditation from 10:45. But you need to register on the website. For the coming month of December, there's the Raja Yoga meditation course. It's a fast track, which is 7 days, and it starts on Monday the 2nd to Sunday the 8th of December from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. And this is online. Mondays and Thursdays, you can join us here or online for reflective meditation. And there's always this quiet room where you can come and just chill out, as young people would say. Next week's talk is Journey of Faith, same time, same place. And the book that accompanies the talk is Slaying the Three Dragons, Overcoming Doubt, Worry, and Fear by Anthony Strano. It's £7. And also, as Christmas is coming, please browse in the shop for some inspiring gifts for family and friends. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you. And thank you very much for coming, and those watching online. Have a good night.
Have a safe journey home. Thank you.